And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Cinderella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Cinderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Alina, and Nina. Tina, Alina, and Nina made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tina, Alina, and Nina all together. One day, the king of the Cobbleburg's messengers said, Hear ye! The king of the Cobbleburg is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Cobbling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Tina said, He's going to marry me. Alina said, No way, Tina! He's going to marry me! Nina said, Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me! Later, Cinderella is so sad doing her chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. So she chants the magic words, Tintity tantity tantity too, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 10 pumpkins. Cinderella's fairy godmother chants the magic words, Tintity tantity tantity too, and waves her magic wand again to turn the 10 pumpkins into a handsome coach by 20 strong horses, and then Cinderella's were closed into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a sensational gown. And get a load of my glass slippers. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Cobbling was wondering who he should marry. Tina, Alina, and Nina said all together, He's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Cobbling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella is almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Cobbling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around the Cobbleburg to find her, and brought the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home of where Cinderella, Tina, Alina, and Nina lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Tina, Alina, and Nina. Prince Cuddling then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you not find me these 2 glass slippers?" Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Alina is next, but her foot is too small. Nina is last, but her foot isn't the right size either. Suddenly, Prince Cuddling noticed Cinderella's sweet singing. Cinderella then gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Cuddling back, and Prince Cuddling doesn't have to put the 2 glass slippers back on her feet because they're so uncomfortable. And now they've both lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers. If you want to see some sequels, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Andrew does everything, and buy our merchandise, etc. And take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named 55erella. 55erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatina, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. May 55erella do all the chores. 55er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yvonne, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. One day, the king of 55ham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 55ham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadrupling." But 55erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fatima, the oldest stepsister. Ivana said, "No way, Fatima. He's going to marry me." The rest said, "No, he's going to marry me." Later, 55erella is so sad, distraught, and upset doing chores about not going to the ball and marry Prince Quadrupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 55erella by saying, There now, my dear sweet 55erella. I can help with a bit of magic," and waves her magic wand. And because of that, 55erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 55erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 55erella has 55 pumpkins and 110 mice. 55erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 55 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 110 mice into horses, and 55erella's very ripped clothes into a gown and crown. 55erella says, "I've never seen such a quinquagintuple-tastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" 55erella's fairy godmother says, "Well, you can't. But have fun, 55erella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. Back to normal." And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. 55erella accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of 55 says, "Good evening, everyone. And my son, Prince Quadrigitatopling, was wondering who he owed to marry. Isn't that right, son?" In which Prince Quadrigitatopling responds, "Yes, father." Suddenly, 55 Arella arrives just in time for the ball. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, "He's walking towards me!" all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Quadrigitatopling is walking towards 55 Arella. "May I have this dance?" asks Prince Quadrigitatopling, in which 55 Arella responds, "I would be delighted." Prince Quadrigitatopling and 55 Arella dance happily together. But later, as 55 Arella checks her clock, it's almost midnight, and so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quadrigitatopling is really sad and worried that he might never see 55 Arella again. The king of 55 Arella comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find her." And so, the king of 55 and Prince Quadrigitatopling began their journey all around 55 to find 55 Arella and brought the glass slipper with them. By the time they arrive, they knock. Prince Quadrigitatopling knocks on the door of the house where 55 Arella and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 55 Arella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quadrigitatopling then says, "Ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can you try on this glass slipper?" Fatima is first, but her foot is too big. Ivana is next, but her foot is too small. "Nonsense! It fits," she said. "The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size." Suddenly, Prince Quadrigitatopling and the king of 55 noticed 55 Arella singing. "Prince Quadrigitatopling, is that you?" she hollered excitedly. Prince Quadrigitatopling says, "Of course it's me. My father and I found you. I love you. Will you marry me?" And the glass slipper fit. And so 55 Arella, the king of 55 and Prince Quadrigitatopling lived happily ever after. The end. And I bet it was a fun story, right, Andrew Stewart? I've been debating on making some sequels. So, if you want to see maybe someday 55 Arella 2, 55 Wishes Come True, tell your friends about it, okay? And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. And have you found your prince or princess? Just let me know, and maybe my Cinderella parodies will come true and become real. Take care, Andrew Stewart. Bye!